Alright guys, I got a good one for y'all today. We've been thinking about doing something with some slat traps. This one's going to be a little bit different for us. My dad passed away 9 years ago, February 2013, and he was our slat trap builder. We haven't fished slat traps since he passed away. I had some he had made. He had a sawmill and he'd cut out the lumber and table saw it all out and build our slat traps for us. And we stocked our freezers with slat traps back before everybody started building these wire nets. In my opinion, I went to the wire nets shortly after that and have used them a good bit. And they're good, don't get me wrong, but my opinion, in a lot of the places that I fish, I did a lot better with slat traps. So we're going to take on a project. This may take a couple videos. It might be a 2 or 3 part video series on building these slat traps, but I'm going to show y'all a little bit what we got on the history of our slat traps. Show you the ones. I just resurrected 2 right here. I've got them out of the pond. They were built about 10 years ago, and I put them in my pond to preserve them, but the nails and stuff are kind of deteriorated, and the slats have gotten a little bit smaller, like some of the wood's come off of them, so they're not really fishable. But with him being dead 9 years, we've got his old pattern right here. I'm gonna take you through the process, getting all of his dimensions and sawing the lumber. We're gonna do it just like he did. What it takes to build a slat trap, how we build them. You'll have the pattern on the video and the type lumber we're gonna use. I'll show you a little bit about these traps and show you what all he used. Now I can tell you from my experience fishing 2 to 3 of these slat traps in the right place, baited in the middle of the summer all the way through the end of the summer, we'd be looking at anywhere from 250 to 400 pounds of channel cats out of 3 of these traps. So they catch. This is a proven pattern here. So we're going to take all his measurements. I've got a friend that's got a sawmill. We're going to go down to his sawmill and cut out the lumber to build these traps. And I'd been waiting on a table saw, and luckily we got blessed with a table saw here just a couple weeks ago. I've got a real nice table saw. We're going to rip out this lumber on the table saw, go through the whole project all the way into fishing them, catching fish with them, and putting them on the table and enjoying some good catfish. Now before we get started, I'm going to show y'all about the coolest thing that I still have that Dad made, and that's this miniature slat trap. It's an exact replica model of the traps that he made. This trap he made for my son Dylan for a social studies project to do with commercial fishing and the fishing industry. You can see how he made them. The bottom, this is the bottom, that's a solid wood bottom. It's got a couple planks in there. The big traps are made the same way. Pretty much solid down the side with a slatting in the back. The 1-inch cracks required in the state of Louisiana where we fished. He's got all of that. You can see the slats here in the back. You can see all of the cracks here, and all the way up to the throats. I think one of the little fingers broke out of the throat, but you can still see it's a exact replica. The latches here, all of the latches, even unlatch, and the door comes off. So there's the door. The big ones will be built the same way. And you can see right here, you can see the slats for the first and second flue, the throats here. Wooden throats and exact inside replica all the way down to the cheese board, or the bait board we call it. So hopefully she's zooming in so we can get a shot of this bait board in here. I'll show you a little more about what that bait board's for. A lot of the commercial guys already know all this, but there's a lot of people out there that's going to find this quite interesting on the slat trap. Y'all can see that's a pretty neat deal that he built for Dylan there years ago. We keep it in the house, keep it put up, but it's exact perfect replica of these bigger traps. Pretty cool to have that. Good conversation piece too. First thing I'm gonna double check on the trap was the dimensions of it. I do remember, I know what he was building, so I already know, but I'll show y'all. We were using 16-inch traps, or 16 inches square, 16 that way and that way. And they're 5 foot long. These were 5 footers. And we made some 6 footers. To me, the 6 footers loaded up with too many fish and I couldn't hardly get them in the boat. So that's why we cut them back to a 5 foot trap. It's a lot easier to handle. They build these things all different sizes. This is just what worked best for us. Now the latches here, you can see right here where this wood's deteriorated, and that's why I say these traps are not really fishable. As soon as we put them in and they load up with fish, it would just tear them up. I'd rather keep these as a keepsake of something he made and just make some replicas. But there's the door. The door's pretty simple. That's going to be easy to make. You can see here the front throat is pretty open. Come in here, you got the frame members in here. You got the second throat. Now I know Daddy built these traps are white oak on the outside, and the inside I believe these throats were red oak. We're actually gonna try to use some ash. I think we had some ash located, and we're gonna, really doesn't matter that much on the front throats because these really don't flex. The fish just go in there, and these are just ticklers. So when they get in here, the cheese will be down in here. When they get in here, kind of bump that, they'll run on through these throats here. Now I haven't even looked at these in like 9 years, but I can tell you what Dad liked and what I liked too on these throats was to have this about the second throat about the size of a Coke can. And I know a lot of times Daddy would run a Coke can in there like that and put a rubber band around this so that that wood would dry out like that right there. But you can tell by this throat actually holding that can in there that I was exactly right. That's about the size of a Coke can in there. I don't know who drinks Diet Coke, but it's not me. Now to really get these traps to catch, you know, a lot of people put bait bags in here and tie it like right here or something. But I'm gonna tell y'all a little secret about catching fish with these slat traps. A lot of people buy these slat traps and there'll be a board in here like this one, and they don't even know what this board is. This is a bait board, what they call a bait board. Now, we didn't spend a lot on too much cheese because we weren't commercial fishing. We were just catching some for us. But a lot of commercial fishermen would actually put a 5-gallon bucket of cheese in here in front of this bait board, shoved up under this throat right here. A lot of people don't know this, but that's the secret to catching fish in these flat traps. You take and rub that cheese all down here on the bottom of this throat, these flues, and cake that cheese down in here under this flue. And when them catfish come in here, they're smelling all that, and they're right in there and they're trapped. We used about half a 5-gallon bucket of cheese on each one of these traps each time we baited, and normally fished them between 1 to 3 days in the summertime. If you fish them much longer than that, your fish are gonna die. It'll fill up with fish, they can't get any oxygen, they'll all die, and it's a mess. So 1 or 2 days, midsummer, we're gonna hang these traps when we get them built. All the way into October, we'll be hanging these traps. Now in the winter time and spring, yeah, you can fish them on the bottom and catch fish all year long with these slat traps. All of these boards that he had on this frame are 1 inch by 1.5 inches, so that's going to be pretty easy to make. Pretty sure I thought he used screws in these little square frames in here, but these are actually crown staples that we used in here, and they held up. So once we get these traps cut out, we'll be able to take a crown staple gun, basically just pop this whole trap together. So it's actually going to be a pretty quick build, hopefully, once we get it all cut out and ready to go. I don't know exactly what these slats were. Looks like all of them were about 2¼ to 2½ inches. Looks like most of them were 2¼ and then he would notch out here for the 1-inch gap back here in the back, and then a 1-inch gap all the way right here to make it legal where all the little ones can get out. You see the solid bottom right there? Y'all can see the end was pretty simple, but these boards are deteriorated, so you know they were a little bit wider down here, but there was a little over 1-inch gap down here because we didn't want to keep all those real small fish. Get those little babies back out there, and same frame down here. So 4 of those are slats, and we're going to be in business. We're going to try to get down to my buddy's house this coming weekend and get the lumber sawed out for these traps. I had to get them out of the water, get them cleaned up to get the dimensions and all that I needed. But we'll try to make that maybe the part 2 video. We get the lumber sawed out, get it cut out on the table saw and get it all ready. Maybe we can fit all that in one video and then do a build video. Y'all be sure to comment. Let me know what y'all think about this style video. We're going to be adding some different content, so y'all got to let me know what y'all like. I've got a lot of stuff I can do. Just need to know what y'all like. So it's going to be hard for us year-round to keep jerking perch and snatching catfish in a boat, but if we have to, we can do that too. Danielle's shaking her head, yeah, up there. But y'all just let me know what you think. Don't forget to like and share our videos, and get it out to your buddies. Get them to subscribe. Follow us on this journey. God's country hunting and fishing, keeping it real.